Assalamu alaikum. So I have another question for you. Why do you think the revelation was sent to a person who could not read or write? This is a B-part question. It's supposed to be your opinion based. It's supposed to be analysis, critical analysis on your behalf. So I'm just giving you a rough sketch of what could be the answers or what I think. This is my opinion. My opinion is definitely different than your opinion. And the reason why the Pakistani students, they lack in their B part is that we just follow the tuition center answers and then we just strike them down and then we have an average score. Your opinion should be genuine. Like if I have 60 students in my class, in 2 classes, not all of the students can think the same. It's impossible. So your answers should be authentic, genuine, and your opinion. It should be visible in your answer. Okay, so my question is, why do you think the revelation was sent to a person who could not read and write? Revelation was sent to which person? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was an ummi. Ummi means a person who has all the education and all the knowledge he has gained is from his mother's lap, in other words, tarbiyat. And although in some sects in Islam, they debate the fact that, they reject the fact that he could not read and write, but as we are posed with this question, we can answer it likewise. First of all, it is quite apparent and quite obvious that it was a miracle for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to, once the Quran was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that miraculously the first revelation, narrating it from his mouth, or instantly memorizing it and instantly narrating it to Jibreel and proclaiming it, is a huge miracle that he also observed him in his own self, and then throughout his years of different types of revelations coming down to him, people also observed, because everybody knew it was a small town like Makkah. Everybody knew each other. They were very interconnected with each other. Everybody knew that Muhammad did not know how to read and write, and him narrating such beautiful words and such eloquent words was no less than a miracle. Then if you can see, I have blame of fabrication at the top. Him not being able to read and write is important when it comes to negate the fact that he could have fabricated it. Because remember, if you don't know how to read and write, how are you supposed to create something? How are you supposed to write something that you did not know how to write? So the blame of fabrication, that he may have created it or he may have written it by himself, that was nullified, that was void. Then if you can see, the next thing I have up there is poetry. Poetry, poets, either you're really good at poetry and it comes as a natural asset that you have, a natural skill that you have, or it's nothing that you can adopt. Poetry cannot be adopted. I mean, you can try your level best, but some are natural poets. Now, the people who are natural poets, their style of poetry is so eloquent. If I could give you the example of Allama Iqbal. Now, his poetry, his written poetry in Persian and Urdu, a normal layman or a normal person cannot understand it. Like, the people who are people of literature can understand Allama Iqbal's poetry, but a common man, common society, they can't understand it. So imagine a person who has never read or write, how could he make up poetry? Because, in Makkah, the verses that were revealed were more to rhyming verses, rhythmic, melodious, like this. So they thought it was poetry, and they blamed him of being a poet. They also called him a sha'ir, that he is a poet. But if you can't read and write, and if you've never gone through the process of formal education, how can you write poetry? It's near to impossible. And then if you see in this corner, I have a Christian scholar. The Prophet Muhammad was also blamed that in Makkah, the Makkans said that the Prophet visits a Christian scholar, a Christian monk, and he listens to the stories from this Christian monk, and then he comes and narrates them. He writes them down and then he comes and narrates them. So him not being able to read and write negates the fact that they claim that he writes it down from some Christian scholar. And then if you see belief for self, you know, the miracle that was taking place in front of the Prophet himself, I mean, revising and memorizing the revelations coming down, no matter how long they were, even sometimes a whole surah, Surah Al-An'am, is known to be revealed all at once. It's a long surah, right? And then miraculously, with the wink of an eye, memorizing it for his own self, it increased his own belief in his prophetic mission also. And then, of course, for Meccans to believe, it was good for them also, but they didn't pay heed. They recognized the miracle. They recognize that this person has never lied. They recognize that he cannot fabricate it. They recognize that he can't write it or create poetry like this. But why did they not believe? Just to the mere fact that they did not want to believe. And then another really, really valid reason could be because the Prophet did not know how to write, the process of, you know, after a revelation, calling scribes to write the revelation down. In Makkah, remember, I keep on telling my students, in Makkah there were different scribes, and in Medina there were different scribes. So calling different people to write the revelations down, what does that prove? That creates so many witnesses. In 23 years, he had so many witnesses who witnessed the revelations coming down, and then them writing it down, and then them also knowing that of course he could not read and write, so he couldn't create this. So it's very important. This is a very important aspect, that in the passage of 23 years there were so many witnesses to bear witness that this was something miraculous, and that the Prophet did not know how to read and write, so we wrote the revelation for him. Because whenever you have to prove something, what is always asked for? Witnesses are always asked to prove your stance. So that's my try on, and that's my opinion to the answer. Of course, you can add on to your opinion, add on to your answers. It would be genuine and authentic when you give your own answers. Thank you.